Have you ever wondered why some people live a seemingly limitless life while other people seem to live a life filled with limitations? Well, I submit to you that limitless life or life of limitations is a choice that you get to make. In fact, it's a decision you get to make. You're going to find out why there's a difference between a choice and a decision. But you're also going to find out why the people who live a seemingly limitless life live a seemingly limitless life.
Limitless.
It seems like the people who are the best of the best are so far and away ahead of everybody else that people feel like they're never going to catch up. So you think about somebody like Tiger Woods in his heyday, right? When he went to a golf tournament, everybody expected him to win. He was number one in the world for, I don't even remember, 150 something weeks in a row, which is more than 3 years in a row. He was number one in the world. Nobody else has ever even come close to that. But he was so far and away, people just decided, his opposition, his competition decided if he was playing that he was going to win. Which means he decided that for them. When Michael Jordan was in the league, like he did stuff that nobody ever thought about doing before. And so the question is, like, I'm not going to play basketball like Michael Jordan. I'm not going to play golf like Tiger Woods, but I wasn't put here to play basketball like Michael Jordan, and I wasn't put here to play golf like Tiger Woods, but I was put here to be the king of my thing. And you were put here to be the king of your thing. Or ladies, you were put here to be the queen of your scene. And you can be the best of the best. Forget about the rest. There's no such thing as competition. You can live a limitless life if you learn to believe more in your leverage than you do in your limitations. And most people believe more in their limitations than they do in their leverage. And so what they do is they go around proving to themselves that all the stuff they thought they couldn't do, they were right about it. There's a different way to live your life. Now, when I think of what's possible for me, I pretty much think everything that's a part of my thing is possible for me. And the only thing that's impossible for me is that something that I'm supposed to do would be impossible for me. And if you'd learned, that's a disciplined way of thinking that most people don't have. Like the biggest key to success is not a morning routine. The biggest key to success is not, well, you have to wake up at 5:30 every morning. Well, I don't wake up at 5:30 every morning. Now, and in fact, there are some mornings when I wake up at 5:30, but for the most part, that's not most mornings, right? You know when I wake up? Usually when I'm done sleeping, right? So that you have to do this, and you have to exercise in the morning, and you have to drink a cup of coffee in the morning, and you got to work out, and you can't look at your cell phone. Like, all that's great. I mean, you can set your environment up in a way that you're more likely to win, but the reality is you have to make a decision, and then you have to learn how to understand the difference between a choice and a decision. Because here's what's not going to happen. You're not going to achieve anything in your life without confidence. What is confidence? Well, the word confidence, the root word of the word confidence is what? Confide. And what does the word confide mean? It means to trust. And so when a person doesn't have confidence, what it means is they don't trust themselves. Why don't you trust yourself? Like, why don't you have confidence? Why do you believe that if somebody else did it, it would work, but if you did, it's not going to work? I don't want to go through life looking, well, yeah, of course they can do it, but not me. No, but of course I don't know if anybody else can do it or not, but I know I can get the deal done. Right? Put me in the arena where the battles are being fought, where the awards are being won. It's so interesting. Like I talked about David a couple of weeks ago, right? David, talking about the story of David and Goliath. And one of the things I didn't cover in the story was like when David came down and David came down to bring food to his brothers. And he came down and he heard the giant. And then David, before he decided to fight Goliath, he negotiated, renegotiated, and renegotiated again his contract. Because he said, what shall be done to the man that slayeth this, that killeth this Philistine? Well, he's going to get the king's daughter as his wife. I'm going to be the son-in-law to the king. Okay, that's a good start. What else? Well, he's going to be son-in-law to the king. King's going to enrich him with great riches. And then his family will be tax-free in Israel. Just give me the last one. I don't need the king's daughter. I don't need just that tax-free one. That's the one I'm looking for right there, right? And so after Dave, they told him that, He literally turned to somebody else and said, what's going to be done? And then somebody else answered him after the same man. Then he turned to somebody else and said, now, I want to make sure before I go fight this guy, I want to know how much my check is going to be. And see, one of the problems, we think that not charging for the results that we produce in our environment is somehow being humble. It's not being humble, it's just not being very smart. David said, I want to know, I'm going to kill the giant anyway, but since I'm going to kill him anyway, I want to know how much I'm going to get paid. People talk about count the cost. Yeah, count the cost, but also count the commissions. Like, how much am I going to get paid? People ask me all the time, like, how do I know how much to charge for producing a result for a client? My answer is always the same. You always start with this. Is it a price that makes you smile? If it's not a price that makes you smile, it's too low. Yeah, now see, here's what your problem is. You thought it was supposed to be a price to make your customer smile. They can smile or don't smile. They should be smiling because I'm getting ready to help you. Right? Right? But if I'm gonna do it, you're gonna have to make it worth my while. Time is something that I have less and less of every day, and I value my time whether you value it or not. And by the way, you're never gonna value my time if I don't value my time. Tony Robbins said, and I think he's right. I don't think he's right about everything. I think he's right about this. He said, if you want to duplicate any form of human excellence, you need to find somebody who's performing at a high level in that discipline and model three things. He said, number one, you want to model their belief systems. I submit to you that the life you're living right now is a direct result of the beliefs that you hold right now. Beliefs that you hold about the past and beliefs that you hold about the future. So he said the second thing, you need to first thing, model their belief system. Second thing, you model their physiology. You carry yourself the way they carry themselves. Like if I came in here and I was like this, you would assume something about me. I talk like this, you would assume something about me. If I was shifty-eyed, this is my physiology. I never looked at anybody. I never looked anybody in the face. You would think, this person can't be trusted, right? So you model their physiology, and then you model their mental syntax. And the mental syntax is the order in which they fire off messages in their brain. For instance, if you say, the dog bit Johnny, that has meaning, right? The dog bit Johnny. But if you say, Johnny bit the dog, that has a different meaning, even though both sentences have the exact same words in them. So like the order that you do a thing oftentimes is as important as the thing you're doing. Are y'all tracking? Okay. So you have to have confidence. Why don't people have confidence? People don't have confidence because they don't trust themselves. Why don't people trust themselves? Because the only person who's heard every lie you've ever told is you. Watch this. Here's the main reason. You told yourself, I'm going to do X, Y, Z. Like, this is why New Year's resolutions are a bad idea. You say, this year I'm going to blah, blah, blah. And then 3 weeks in, you stop doing it. Right? And the reason you stopped doing it is because you made a choice. You didn't make a decision. I'm going to show you what that means in a minute. And so what happened is you have this wishy-washy way of being. And so you don't have confidence because you've broken your word to yourself so many times in the past, you can't believe a word you say. You have confidence in yourself because you trust yourself, because you know your word is your bond. How many of y'all tracking? Here's what happens. Like, if you don't trust yourself because you've broken your word to yourself so many times in the past, you can't believe a word you say. When you're talking to people, what you don't realize is people don't see you through their eyes. They see you through your eyes. And you're literally causing people to doubt you because you doubt yourself. People go around picking one that feels the most comfortable in the moment, that feels the easiest path in the moment. You can't live a limitless life like that. People who go out and change the world, they literally have a reality distortion field that is so big that it doesn't matter that other people tell them it's impossible. David's brother said, "Oh, what are you doing down here? You just came down to see the battle. We know your pride and the naughtiness of your heart." David said, what have I now done? Is there not a cause? Like, y'all hiding. I'm going to go fight this dude. Why you fussing at me? I ain't the problem. He's the problem. Y'all the problem. I ain't the problem. But see what happens for people who are unwilling to change a situation. The people who are willing to change the situation are the problem to those people, because now you got to live with yourself after you see that your next door neighbor go do the thing that you've been talking about doing for the last 10 years. And most people don't make decisions. They make choices. But if you're going to be a person of honor, you need to learn to make decisions, because to decide is to make a covenant with yourself. Remember the word covenant, right? So two people come together, they would kill an animal, they would walk in a circle, they would take a knife in their left hand, cut their right hand, put their hands together, bind it together with a rope. The word covenant means to cut. And they would make a promise on their life saying, if I don't keep my word to you, may what happened to this animal happen to me. What if your word, the things you say, became a covenant that you make with yourself? So now you can trust yourself, because you'd rather die in honor keeping your word than live in dishonor and not keep your word. The game would change for you forever, because now you don't go through life sticking your toe in the water that could elevate your ship and take you to a place you've only dreamed of in the past. You don't stick your toe in that water anymore. You dive in the water, and then you start building your ship after you're in the water. You figure it out on the way. And so, if you're going to have a limitless life, the first thing you need to do is you need to have a very determined and clear focus.